So one of the most exciting things about working on the initiative is really watching the power of the network grow and really watching the schools come together, work with each other, and share their knowledge with the other institutions that are members of the initiative. And of course, these resources are available to anybody who wants to either participate in a webinar or workshop that we do, or who wants to attend an event that we do. But the schools are working with each other within the network. So a very interesting example at Furman University in South Carolina. They're part of the Duke Endowment group of schools. There are 4 institutions, and they had brought those 4 institutions together along with 4 institutions that were advanced in the climate action planning process to have a 3-day workshop to really kind of walk through how specifically Furman was going to be doing their climate action planning process. And they wrote an article for the ACUPCC Implementer newsletter sharing this experience. Well, about I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, I get a call from Angela Halfacre, who's the implementation liaison and sustainability director at Furman University, and Jack Byrne, who's the sustainability director at Middlebury College. And they were calling me with a proposal of a workshop that they wanted to do to help other schools learn the climate action planning process that they had developed through this workshop, and kind of worked together with the 8 schools that were there to really refine. So we worked with them to focus the workshop around what we felt the broad group of signatory needs was. Where are most of the schools in the process? This was right before the deadline when the large group of the first cohort of about 400 institutions had their climate action plans due. And so I knew there were going to be a lot of schools that were in this process, and also that would be asking for extensions as they finalize their plan. This was a really excellent opportunity to support them in this process, and the workshop idea was just a wonderful one of, different materials that have been developed, walking people through the different things that you have to consider as you're developing a climate action plan, how you engage the members of your campus community, how you think through what your priorities are for where you're going to do your emission reductions, how you grapple with some of the really complicated issues around making sure that every student you graduate is sustainability literate. And that your research objectives at the institution are also focused on sustainability as a broad goal. And so we had a sold-out workshop, people waiting at the door, literally, to get in. And we realized that this was actually a need that we could serve as part of the support for the initiative. And what we hear over and over again is how important it is for the schools to come together, not only to learn about the experience of other schools and guidelines that they might be able to follow on their own campuses, but also just to sit in a room with other people who are doing the same work on their campuses, maybe in the same region, maybe 3,000 miles away across the country, and really kind of getting the support from each other to move forward on something that's very challenging, that's brand new, that nobody really knows how to do. There's no textbook for how you go through this process. I always feel like we don't even need a workshop. If we just get the implementation liaisons in a room together and we say go, the conversations are going to happen, the connections are going to be made, the resources are going to be shared, and they're going to feel supported in the work that they're doing, which is often very difficult, isolating work on their own campuses.